This is the Coach Bryan Moore Show with Opelika head football coach Bryan Moore. And now with Coach Moore, the voice of the Bulldogs, Van Riggs.
Dogs 5-1, headed into a big one coming up this Friday night at Dothan at Rip Hughes Stadium alongside Coach Bryan Moore. I'm Van Riggs. Coach, you got challenged last Friday night at Pike Road. We knew it was going to be a challenge. Coach Shook and his staff do a fantastic job. And the first 7A team to ever play in their stadium. You knew they were going to be fired up, and they played with an edge, even getting down 21-0 battling back.
No doubt. No fear in those guys for sure. But that comes from their coach, and that comes from a tradition-rich program, a young program, you know, in that regard. But tradition-rich, nonetheless, with the state championship recently, 6A semifinal team last year. I mean, this is a good team, you know. And, you know, so we were excited to get out of there with a win. Encouraged by some things in the game, but also some things we need to fix, just like every game. But truthfully, you know, it's 21-0, and we let them back in the ball game. They had a really good drive. Their quarterback was an absolute player and just did a great job with his scrambles and keeping plays alive, and their receivers made some great catches as well. And then their back is a good player. But I did think that it was a huge game for us to play prior to going into region play, just because they were really good defensively. You know, obviously super physical in the game. They ran the ball effectively against us, so it gave us some things to clean up because we came off two not very competitive ball games before that. So I thought that was good to have to play 4 quarters. We had a few guys cramp and some stuff like that because, again, we've only played like 20 snaps, you know, in the games before. Like Amari cramped a little bit, but he played 60 snaps. And so got a lot to work on, but a huge challenge going forward this week.
Yeah, I think you're going off of that. I think Calvin in the Smith Station game only had 8 carries, right, I think, in the entire ball game, and he was asked to do a lot Friday night.
No doubt, and all of us, and that's why it was so important to have this game, you know, because we could have chosen for this week to be a bye week, you know, going into region play, but I just felt like it was important to play a game, to play a really good opponent, you know, and have to strain a little bit and play towards the end of the ball game and find a way to win. You know, I was pleased with some of the responses in the game as well. You know, we go up 21-0. They answer twice. We have a kickoff return issue that make it 21-14. But then we have a really big return from Jamari, and then we kick a field goal to put it back to 2 scores. And it never got inside of 2 scores from that. So I think our responses have been good all year, whether it's Ben Russell, this game, Auburn. We responded really well in games, so proud of that. We had, like I mentioned, the one kicking game issue that we had to clean up. We worked really hard on this week. But encouraged by our team overall. You know, but again, we understand that the next step is coming this week.
Field position was key in that game against Pike Road. It even led to a pick 6 by Tyrese Pitts, the birthday boy, who got a big score.
That's right, who's going to be on the show in just a second. But, you know, Tyrese is an outstanding young man. Field position was key. You know, Reese continues to kick the ball well. We continue to cover our tails off, whether it's Xavier Thomas or Van or Jacody Jackson, who was on there, or Jalen Nelson. Some of these younger guys, outside of Van, but some of the younger guys are really running down there covering kicks really well. Proud of that. But you're right, being backed up, their average starting field position was the 21-yard line. You love that number. Whether it was kickoff or punts from Zion, which Zion had an incredible, he was our special teams player of the week. I think he punted 6 times, which is too many, but he bombed some punts. And we did a good job of downing punts inside the 10. And then they had a muff punt. But part of that is the fact that we had 8 guys around the returner. By the time he caught it, the ball was hit so high, you know, that there were 8 guys around him, and he muffed it, and we were right there to cover it up. And then we scored 2 plays later. So encouraged by our special teams. We continue to be really good in that phase, and that has to be a constant. We talk about it all the time. That's the thing that we feel like we can control with our specialists. We plan to have Johnny back this week. So we're really encouraged by our special teams and the job they're doing. And then obviously, like you mentioned, Tyrese played a great ball game. Really proud of him, and what a birthday gift that was.
It absolutely was. And, you know, on defense, I think, you know, the defensive line may not get their names called as much, but the secondary and the linebackers, I thought, really had a good game coming up and making the tackles when they needed to.
No doubt. And even when, you know, outside of the 1 pass to 7 that was for the touchdown late, the last touchdown they scored, we were able to get the guys on the ground. You know, we had the one that we gave up. I think it was from our sideline. It was a quick post. Tyrese ran and tackled him. Keevian had a couple big tackles. You know, obviously we got to clean up between the hash issues, which there was 2 4th and 8 conversions on their last drive that we didn't really fit well, and then cover and keep our eyes in the right spot. We continue to talk about that. Great to see Tyler Moore back. Tyler was dynamic. He looked really fresh. Ty Hudson played his best ball game, which is saying a lot. Out of the ball games he's played, he is an absolute dog. He runs and tackles everything. He's always around the football. Just incredible job. But back to your point, the D-line I thought was their best this week. I thought Amari had major pressures in the game. I thought Malik played his best game. He was the one that forced the fumble off their 19-play drive that we got the goal line stand at the one Malik forced the fumble. I thought that was really huge. Lightfoot was back in the action, so that was good to see 99 back out there. So we're getting better. And then Carson Moss played really well at strong safety. Made the very first stop of the game was a third down. They ran a little option play. Carson chops him down. He's just so long and rangy, and then he had a pick, right before half that we really should have turned into points. But it gave us another plus territory possession. So really proud of those guys. We continue to get better defensively, and it's exciting to see because we're really talented, but now we're playing within the scheme better and eliminate mistakes better and making it really tough for people to drive it.
Heading into this game Friday night against Dothan, one side that really will be challenged is the defense to try to find a way to slow down this run and attack from Dothan. It's
just so unorthodox, now, and they do such a great job. They have answers for everything. Coach Kennedy does a tremendous job. He's a really good football coach. They've got a great scheme that they understand. I think this is year 3 or 4 for him, and so his kids have kind of been raised in this system. So you're able to see them even stretch it further into some of the things they do because it's not just 4 yards in a cloud of dust. I mean, it is throwbacks and even some screen action and just different stuff that they do. They will spread it out a little bit. 11's a really good cue. He can throw it too. I expect him to be back. He's been a little limited with a hamstring, but he'll be back, I'm sure, in the game. And they've got an explosive wing and then offset back, that make a difference. And their blocking back is a big almost guard, extra 240-pound kid that's in there banging, is a great player. So we'll have our work cut out for us. I'm excited about the chess match, though. That's the fun of it, of, where are the pieces, what tendencies can we get off those guys? But ultimately, when it all breaks down, all the eye candy and moving parts and all the things you have to see your key and you have to run and be willing to fight that war for 60 snaps, because their kids are. They've grown up in this. They understand what it takes to run the ball, 60 times in a ball game. We have to be willing to defend it for that. And if we have the will to do it, we'll have a chance. But if we can't, then you'll see, big plays happen late as we're tired. It's about, it's a war in there, and it's about a war of attrition. It's about making sure you have enough bodies in there that when those guys get fatigued, that you have fresh bodies. So we want to play 22 kids. We want to play a bunch of guys and get them reps, and you're starting to see that even back to last week. But excited to see us play. I mean, this is why, partly why I came here, is to be able to coach in games like this. And, it'll be a lot of fun, a long road trip. We've got a plan for all that. But I think our kids will handle it. And each week we get a little bit better mentally about how we handle the logistics of travel and that sort of thing. So I'm encouraged by that and excited to see us Friday.
Yeah, and week to week now, you're playing a team that's playoff caliber, and this team is a team that's been in the playoffs the past couple of years. Yep. So, I mean, the message to your team, I'm sure they're fired up and ready to go, but this is almost like a playoff game. You got to win these to get in.
Yeah, I mean, we could play 8 weeks, right? So we got 4 regular season and 4 playoff games. There's a possibility all of them are going to be playoff caliber. All of them, most of the teams we play are either in the top 5 or were, like this team Friday. We have our work cut out for us every week. And there is no turning back. There is no, redos or second chances. I mean, either you win or you go home. And so, again, we don't know what that looks like. We don't necessarily have to go 4-0 down the stretch, but we've got to play really well, and we've got to go win some of these games we haven't won since going to 7A. I mean, here we are. We're standing, on deck right here and ready to go into the box and really prove ourselves in front of our crowd. I know we will have a big group go down there and for our kids But again, we understand, and I think our kids are ready for this, and they're hungry. This is the legacy part we talk about. Being able to say that, hey, I'm a 2024, football player. This is 30 years from now, and this is what I did, and how we, got into the playoffs, and whatever we did there. So we're excited about that. It'll be a lot of fun, and truthfully, Van, I don't know another team in the state of Alabama that's going through a 4-game stretch like we're getting ready to. And again, we knew that. It was no secret what the schedule was. But we're excited about the challenge.
Yeah, and I think it's a chance for the kids to prove to the state that Opelika football is back, because a lot of people around the state still are kind of ignoring Opelika, and 5-1, it's still not getting much attention.
I've had a lot of text from friends and different folks saying, why are we not ranked or this or that? And I understand, honestly, until you prove it. there's no room for us to crack that, and it really doesn't matter anyway, but there's no room for us to be considered one of those teams until we prove it on the road or against one of these perennial playoff teams that we're playing. But again, we're not far removed from that. I need to remind and make sure everybody remembers that this is a 2016 state champion runner-up. This is a team that's won 1 million region championships. This is a program that had Spence McCracken, who's the greatest all-time Alabama high school football coach in history. I mean, that's what we have here, and that's why I'm back here, is because I knew what this place could be. And I'm just excited to see us find a way to get back there. And I'll tell the community this: our kids deserve to be there. Our kids, they have worked their tails off, and the level of buy-in has been incredible. And I'm so proud of them. And just look at our discipline, and look at us, the after the whistle stuff. We're not having all that stuff. Our kids understand what it takes, and we just got to go do it. But again, no more talking. It's time to either do it or don't. And I'm excited. I think that we're going to go play really well. I don't know what that means as far as a result, but I know that our kids are going to play really hard, and they're completely in, and again have earned the right to win this game.
All right, for any fans that did make the trip a couple years ago, light show, Jumbotron, Rip Hughes Stadium has been completely renovated. I know it was the last time we went, but great atmosphere for football on a Friday night. And Thursday, of course, you got your lunch coming up at the First Baptist Church Opelika in the 316 Center, a chance to get a good preview, $10 meal. So I know everybody encouraged to come out there Thursday night, Thursday at lunch.
So first, the stadium, the last time I was there, it was grass. And so I haven't seen the new turf down there. I've been in the north for a little while. And but it's a great place to play a football game, a big stadium. The bands will be rocking and that whole deal. So that'll be exciting, but a little bit different than the atmosphere from this past Friday.
Could be even a surprise appearance from a college band. Who knows?
So I've heard. So, but then, the luncheon, so we missed last week. And so we're going to bring our safeties. So Kevian, Vin, Tyrese, and Leland Bell will all be there. Coach Dawkins and Coach Smith will be there as well to talk about, our game and kind of the things that have happened in the past as well, kind of highlighting some kids. So I hope people will come out to First Baptist on Thursday at lunch.
All right, the 316 Center, again, $10. Make sure you make your plans to come join us. Coach does a great job and his staff of previewing the matchups and, of course, looking back at some of the highlights during the week, and we hope to see you there. Coming up next, more special guests right here on The Bryan Moore Show. Welcome back here on the Bryan Moore Show. Van Riggs alongside Coach Eric Howell and also Malik Autry. And Coach Howell, defensive line coach at Opelika. And Coach Howell, talk about your defensive line. I know they've been playing good, and I know this guy's helped a pretty good bit.
Yeah, we've been playing pretty well this year so far. I don't think we've reached our potential yet, but we've gotten a lot better over the past few weeks. This guy right here, Malik, is really – this last game, I think, was one of his better games. He's really kind of stepped up his game the last couple of weeks. Mari Smiley has done a really great job. Baby TJ has also done a great job. And Jaquil Lightfoot has been playing really well this year as well. So all four of those guys, plus some of our rotational guys, have really stepped up and we've done a great job this year.
Now, Malik, the home stretch is coming up, these tough region games. I think the Pike Road game was a good test, trying to get back on track after a couple of easier games the past couple of weeks.
Yeah. Oh, no, it's definitely finally getting to play a better team this past week was really good just to see where we're at. Probably one of the better O-lines we played this year, just as far as being athletic and driving on run blocks and even being a pretty decent pass setter. So definitely getting out there, getting used to that, and then getting ready for this 4-game stretch where we know it's going to be a dogfight every single week. So we're definitely preparing every day of practice, and getting that game versus Pike Road was definitely a good step.
You've played against Dothan the past couple times, and I know it's a challenge kind of all week at practice trying to figure out how to protect this offense from scoring. Yeah. And it doesn't take but I know a couple of missed assignments, so they can bust a long run.
Yeah, it's definitely that way. When we played my sophomore year and our junior year, so our defense this year is super, all seniors mostly. So we all done played against them at least once. So we've seen it. Their practice is hard to get the same example of how fast they run and the way they do it, but we've seen it from the past few years, and we struggled against Dothan. So this year is definitely one of those games we take personal. We take every game personal, but this is one of those that's knocked us out of the playoffs or either kept us from reaching our goals. So this is a game we got to get over the hump, and we've seen it before, and yeah, everybody think, everybody does their assignment, we'll be good. Just can't get out of this, play within the system, and we'll be all right.
Coach Howell, I know it's a challenge because if they get past those guys, it may be too late.
Yeah. I mean, we're going to load the box, because they're going to bring everybody in tight. So everybody's got their assignment. It's kind of, it's like playing Smith Station. Everybody's got their assignment. You got to have eye discipline. Make sure you're looking at what you're supposed to be looking at. Don't take your eyes off of that, and everybody does their responsibility. But if you don't, there's not much behind you to keep them from making big plays, big explosive plays. So we just got to be really disciplined this week.
Yeah, Malik, I was talking about to Coach Moore. It's kind of like playoff games every week now because you've got to win these to get in.
Yeah.
And I know you guys understand that.
Yeah, we definitely understand that. That's all how we've been thinking. Even when we play these teams that aren't as good as those guys, we've been trying to practice just as hard, play just as hard, so we can keep taking that step forward every week. Because if you only want to lock in for the big games, it's going to be too late. So we were trying to stay locked in the whole season and to keep on pushing until. So when those times comes, I feel like the games are already played from the all season on up. So I feel like all our hard work that we've been doing is going to really push us over the top when it's time to show up in those big moments.
How are you feeling? How's the rest of the guys feeling up front? Y'all healthy and ready to go?
We were healthy, ready to go. This is probably the most healthy we've been this season. Coach Moore's been taking care of us really well at practice. Coach McGee, the strength, the conditioning coach, doing really good work on our bodies. We're stretching a lot, so it is great. This is probably the best I felt halfway through the season. I feel like I'm getting better too. I feel like my body's getting better, getting more in shape, getting faster. The games feel slowing down, so we all feel good though.
Coach, it's a challenge too, I know, to keep guys fresh in a game like this, especially as much as they can run and keep you on the field.
Right, we've got to do a really great job of rotating guys in because these guys are going to get just beat up. I mean, every single play. And so, we're working that this week, trying to get some of those rotational guys a lot more reps. Because when it comes down to the fourth quarter and these guys have been out there battling for that long, we've got to have them fresh. So we'll do a better job this week of rotating guys.
All right. Hey, good luck to both of y'all. Appreciate y'all joining us. All right, we'll continue with more here on the Bryan Moore Show. We've got Assistant Defensive Coordinator Tyler Dawkins joining up with us, and Tyrese Pitts next here on the Bryan Moore Show. Welcome back here on the Bryan Moore Show. We continue with more special guests. We've got co-defensive coordinator Tyler Dawkins and also Tyrese Pitts. And first, we'll start with you, Coach Dawkins. Talk about your, along with being co-defensive coordinator, you handle these safeties, and they've been playing really good this season.
They have. Super proud of, obviously, this kid in the middle here. I don't know if a lot of people know, but last week was his birthday. Last Friday, as a matter of fact.
That's right.
And he caught his first pick of the season, and also not only did he do that, but he also returned it for a touchdown, which helped us out tremendously. And I think that put us up 21-0. So really jumped us out in front of Pike Road, and obviously from there he finished off the game in a great way. So really proud of him and really proud of the whole back end back there.
Yeah, I was about to say a lot of those guys have been calling their numbers. Kevian King's had several interceptions this year. Cord Ingram's played good. I mean, there's just numerous guys in there, and a lot of guys rolling in and rolling out too. Leland Bell, another one of those guys too.
Yeah, man. He was, I think Tyrese, for the starters as anyway, he was the last one to get his first pick. So everybody on the back end has notched a pick so far, and I hope we just continue that as we finish up this season.
Yeah, Tyrese, talk about how the season's going so far. I know that was big because, the offense, I wouldn't say struggled, but had trouble moving the ball a little bit at times. And boy, that really put the game. You felt like it with a good cushion before Pike Road, made a little run there, but put us up 21-0. So I know that was exciting, especially on your birthday.
I feel like we're doing good. Everything's falling into place as we play. I feel like everything's working well. Coach Moore has us in a schedule that's working with us well. And the way how everything is moving in practice, I think we're doing great.
All right, a challenge I know coming up this week to face this Dothan team. I know you guys got to be on your toes because everything moves so fast against this Dothan team.
Yes, sir. Dothan is a hard place to play at. We have our certain keys we have to read. So if everyone just stays focused on their keys, I think we'll come out victorious.
Coach, I know you're familiar with Dothan, coming from Dothan on your previous stop, and I know you're familiar with Coach Kennedy and this offense.
Like Tyrese just said, I mean, It's a struggle for everybody.
Right.
I mean, it's hard to kind of simulate 1 week of practice. That's why I think I was on a radio show 2 weeks ago, and they were asking me about Smith Station's offense, which, I mean, I guess in a way it's kind of similar because they ran flex bone. So you still, you have to be true to your keys. You have to be disciplined. You can't basically chase the eye candy because they have a lot of false reads within their offense. So it might look like they're going one way, but they're actually going a completely different way. So we basically have to create that balance within our defense and just not get greedy, man. Do your job. And that goes for all 11 that's on the field at the time.
And I know I was talking to Coach earlier this week. I said, one of the keys to winning a game like this, and he says, can't get beat deep. And I know that's one thing that's this quarterback can throw the ball, and you can get sucked in on some eye candy. Next thing you know, they're throwing it deep.
Yes, sir.
Now, talk about just what do you look for as far as that goes in the passing game to make sure you don't let that wide receiver get past you?
Just having our eyes on the right person, not allowing keeping everything in front of us, just playing our keys, and that's it.
Now, Coach, I know that can be a challenge for the game, too, coming up.
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, and that's the cliche thing. Every team, wants to stay to their keys, be disciplined, all the things that you hear about football week to week. But this one, is really true. Like, you do one thing out of the way Friday night, and it's a possibility for 6, each and every time that they step on the field, break that huddle. Because you just, like you said just a minute ago, you get so sucked in with the eye candy, the run, and they'll just lure you, and then they'll go over the top. And, I mean, like I said, everybody says it, but eventually it happens, but we're trying to prevent that by all costs this week.
All right. Well, Coach, good luck, and Tyrese, good luck. Hopefully we're calling your name again on Friday night a lot.
Yeah, sir.
All right. Next week, of course, we'll be previewing another big matchup as Enterprise comes to town, hopefully recapping a big victory over the Dothan Wolves. Again, this Friday night, Rip Hughes Stadium. Don't forget Coach Bryan Moore's lunch coming up on Thursday, First Baptist Church Opelika in the 316 Center, and we'll see you back next week right here on The Bryan Moore Show.